Greetings brothers, today I'm going to be unboxing and checking out the re-release of HeroQuest. Back in the early 90s, HeroQuest was the game that got me interested in Warhammer and Games Workshop models in general. It was originally a Milton Bradley game, but I think the models were all licensed from Games Workshop, and I loved HeroQuest when I was a little child. I think my dad actually put mine away to a charity shop, so when this re-release came out on Kickstarter I was so excited. So it's finally here, so let's check it out and see what you get. Alright, awesome. So this was from Kickstarter. I believe this game is getting a re-release now, so if you didn't Kickstart it, there is a chance to pick it up. However, on Kickstarter in the UK there was only one option, which was to go for the Ultimate Pledge, which meant you got the original game plus a bunch of the expansions. So I had a couple of expansions when I was a kid, and if anyone is unfamiliar, then HeroQuest is essentially, I'd say it's like a light version of Dungeons and Dragons. If you've ever played Descent or Imperial Assault or anything like that, where like you control a single character and you work your way through dungeons, then that is what HeroQuest is. Usually your character persists through the dungeons, you get XP, you get new items, you get new gear, so that is HeroQuest. And it was probably, I think it was released a few years earlier than Space Crusade, and people are obviously very familiar with Space Crusade. I don't know how I'm going to get my fingers in to get this out. Okay. Rather than embarrass myself, I will just cut this box down the side. And now, hopefully, it will come out. So yeah, it was a few years before Space Crusade. I actually never owned a copy of Space Crusade myself. If they do a re-release, they did one a few years back, and maybe if they do another one. So this is basically just another packaging box. So this is like past the parcel at this point. Alright, one box down. We'll do the same again. If it's another box the same size, then the game is getting considerably smaller each time. So let's check this out. And there we go, HeroQuest Game System. So in the UK it was never called HeroQuest Game System. It was America it was called the Game System. I think in the UK it was called like Adventure or something. Someone in the comments will keep me right. So yeah, we've got, may as well start with expansions because they'll be nice and easy to get out of the box. We have Keller's Keep, the Quest Pack. Expand your HeroQuest Game System. Inside we get a bunch of different goblins, a quest book, 17 miniatures, 8 goblins, 6 orcs, 3 abominations, cardboard tile sheet, 2 dungeon doors and 14 game cards. Okay, and we have a tiny little bit of lore. Do you know what, we'll come back to the lore on the expansions in a minute. We also have Return of the Witch Lord quest pack, and this one contains 8 skeletons, 4 mummies, 4 zombies, and then the doors and the game cards as well. So if each of these boxes contains, this one is 16 miniatures, this one is about the same, 17 miniatures. So for me, that's like 6 months of painting right there. You'll definitely see me painting this on one of my streams. This is the Mythic reward that you got. So this contains 4 hero miniatures, 18 monsters, 6 combat dice, 14 cards, 4 character cards, combat game tiles, 3 quest books, and then more miniatures and more cards. I believe the original game had a single quest book. That was it. You just had 12 quests, and I don't think I ever actually completed it playing it properly. And then this is the actual full box. Now this is a bit, the original box was probably longer and thinner. Unfortunately I don't have it anymore. High adventure in a world of magic. This is HeroQuest. We have the barbarian here, our dwarf, our elf, and our wizard. And in the original game, I hope, as much as I hope that they've preserved some of the stats and stuff, the wizard was such a glass cannon. He had like 4 hit points. Like he was just so squishy. Very difficult character to play in that. Quite often when you played this game, it was the first game that you ever played of this kind. People didn't know to group up and work together. And this is what you see from the game board. You also have the Dungeon Master screen. And you have 70 miniatures in here. Okay, wow. So the 4 characters, like I said, Barbarian, Dwarf, Elf, Wizard. What have we got miniature-wise? It doesn't actually break them down, but we're going to open this box up in a second. And this is where we'll start on a little bit of lore. For many years, the land has been at peace. The darkness that once threatened to engulf it is forgotten. But the darkness was not destroyed, merely banished. And now it gathers strength once more, and an ancient evil stirs in the depth of the earth. The land has need of the heroes, and without them we are doomed. This actually also was a video game way back in the day, and I believe I played it in the early 90s as well, and that was on the Atari ST, which was I say it's a console, it was the computer I had back then. I actually loved the Hero Quest video game as well. It was a very fun and simple video game. 70 miniatures plus the extra 30, 100 miniatures. Geez, I mean, this is going to take me a long time before it is battle ready. Obviously, because I mainly am painting Blood Angels that are also on the pile of shame. The Hero Quest game system. In this exciting fantasy adventure, you and your fellow players must work together to defeat the evil sorcerer Zargon. I don't know if he had a name back in the day. And complete the quests. Playing the hero roles of the Barbarian, the Dwarf, the Elf, and the Wizard, you all move cautiously through a labyrinth of eerie dark powers. Yeah, nobody moves cautiously. Ghastly monsters will prowl the underground passages far below the surface of the known world. Zargon's deadly forces threaten, but wise mentor has taught you well. Find the treasure and make it out safely, or all may perish together. Right, so I guess back in the day I think this cost £40. It might have been less, because I remember when I first got into Warhammer, the second edition box set cost £40. So this, this might have actually been $20.99 or like $29.99 back in the day. I'm going to very gently try and peel these stickers off because I don't know. I've wanted Hero Quest for a long time, actually, long before they announced the Kickstarter. I've looked at it on eBay from time to time, and it's always been as expensive as the Kick. I just peeled the box off. God damn it! All right, that sticker's not coming off. Why put stickers on it, guys? I don't need these stupid stickers. Ugh. Alright, I'm annoyed now. I got one of them off nicely. That's really going to annoy me now. Okay. There's something nice about having board games and having them in good condition, and putting 4 sets of stickers on every seal is... No, that's annoying. Anyway, there we go. So we start with a nice, is it a nice piece of artwork? No, it's like a holder for something. It's a holder for a bunch of miniatures. And I think the original game didn't actually have any D6, honestly. Or D6 with just 1 through 6 on them. It had these dice. Of course it had these dice, because these are your standard attack dice in Hero Quest. You had a shield, you had... I think this is an enemy attack, and then you have like a player attack. And it's quite a lot of miniatures, actually. I feel like this is about all the miniatures you would have got in the original. So these look like female orcs. We've got some sort of magus, more orcs, male orcs, goblins, female goblins, more orcs. The skeletons, these are the classic skeletons with the sort of what would you call that? Scythe, I guess. So classic skeletons with a scythe. I mean, these are color coded, so you could play with them, I suppose, without painting them. We also have what looks like, and these were all based on Games Workshop stuff. So this probably looks like a
in some ways it can almost be like a bit like a Khorne Berserker with a shield, or a Chaos Marauder. I mean, the helmet is very Chaos Marauder. In some ways, these guys were probably
these are probably heavily influenced from Chaos Marauder, because I don't think this has anything to do with Games Workshop anymore. So they've redone Hero Quest, but it's nothing to do with Games Workshop now. But a lot of the characters may be generic enough that they can reuse them. For example, the Gargoyle. And he's a pretty cool gargoyle, quite imposing. The detail on the sculpts is pretty good. I mean, it's as good as they were in the original game, I would say. And obviously there's a lot of characters that weren't here in the original game. For example, there's definitely no breakdown of male-female. I mean, and then here is some sort of like
lizard man. I've never seen this guy. So I had, like I said, I had one of the expansions, but obviously not
not the one with... I don't even think there was an expansion with Lizardman. Alright, so that was one tray of miniatures. The second tray is terrain and character sheets. So yeah, whenever you played this game... Let me put this back in here. How's it supposed to go? You got a little character sheet.
very simple. Name, character, attack dice, defend dice, weapons, armor, body points, quest completed, gold, and
Potions and other. We also have a deck of cards, and these feel pretty nice. I'm going to open them. Apparently a little bit of paper can stump me. So these are cards for like gems, wandering monsters, I remember this now, healing spells. Oh yeah, on the back of the cards actually, you'll actually see that like for some of them, artifacts, I guess these can be made into decks, equipment,
and then you have your spells. So the spells used to be like fire, water,
magic spells. They've still got water, they've got earth, they've got fire. They've got dread, so that's new. I haven't seen dread spells before. And some other new cards that are like... Oh, like, these are the cards that explain... If you've ever played a complex dungeon crawler like this, you sometimes get a card that keeps you right for the turn sequence, and this is what this card is. So, on a turn, a hero does one of the following. Moves and performs an action, or performs an action, then moves. And it just sort of lets you, if you've never played, sort of helps keep you right. And then these terrain pieces back in the day, these were also used to be made of paper. So they got damaged very easily and they got warped out of shape. So that all the terrain pieces are now actual plastic. So there's a little bench you could put in a level, and then there's little chairs, and there's like sarcophaguses, and there's the doorways to break up the rooms when we get to the board. So all this seems nice, and it is colour coded again, so you do not have to paint this if you did not want to. Obviously it would look a lot better if you did paint it, but yeah, a good amount of terrain for this. You know, I played some games like this that come with no terrain. I want to say Imperial Assault, for example, comes with no terrain, because I 3D printed a ton of stuff to make my Imperial Assault boards feel more real or more vibrant when we were playing. Okay, what else we got here? Well, this is the game board itself. And it's one standard board. And the idea is that the doors get placed in different places. They can place like rocks and stuff to block passages. And although the map is the same, it can be used on every single mission. And this map here actually looks a bit more detailed than the original. The quality feels nice. Everything about this so far I've been impressed with. And then I think here you've got your Dungeon Master screen. Wonder if I can get this out without ripping the paper so I can put it back together again afterwards, maybe. Seems unlikely. We'll try anyway. Maybe I'll get something better to hold all this stuff. So you have, like I said, you have one quest book, the rule book. These blocked rocks, for example, can block passageways. They can be traps. You also have staircases you can create, secret doors. So a lot of little things here to keep the levels a bit more interesting. And then the DM screen.
And what's nice there on the DM screen is you have all the different stats, I guess, for the monsters that the DM will create. So you can be it's kind of like a DM light. You know, it's not as in depth as something like Dungeons and Dragons, like I said, but it's certainly a fun game. It used to be. It was the game that got me started on miniatures, and it says 14 plus on it now, but I think that's probably a little much. And the first, it used to have 12 quests. I've just flicked and I've landed on page 12. So I feel like it used to have 12 quests. So now it's got 13? Looks 14 quests. So a few more quests on their initial book. And you can see here that it shows you which doors and stuff to place as the DM, where you have monsters. So as people move through, you would spawn what they could see. It's kind of like line of sight based.
And yeah, so cool. So you've got 14 quests in the original book. And we'll probably play this on stream at some point. And then we've got the rulebook telling us about the various spells. It says air, fire, water, and earth spells. So I don't know where the dread spells came out. Maybe it was a typo in those cards. Maybe those cards were supposed to say, because I think we saw fire and water, but definitely didn't see dread. And the wizard can take a few spells, and the elf, if I remember correctly, gets 1 or 2 spells. So the elf is like your half combat, half caster class. Okay, what else is in this main box here? And it doesn't feel like there's much else. It's maybe just... Okay, so just a divider at the bottom of this box. So I guess maybe once we open this heroic box here, some of this stuff can find its way back into this box. Alright, I'm going to keep this together here, move this out of shot, and see what is next. Right, the Mythic contents. So if you are buying this, and you're going to buy it now, I think what you get, I think this box that I've just gone through is what's available now in the UK, and I believe it's £84. Because I saw it pop up, I think on Zavi is selling it, £84. So I guess what you get for the £84 is this one large tray of miniatures, everything you need to play the game, I guess. Sort of the basic game, you know, you got one Magnus, you got one Gargoyle, you got some mummies, some orcs, and the 4 character classes. You've got your dice, you've got the board, you've got the train, you've got the spells. And at £84, I mean, how many miniatures is there? Like 2, 4, 6, 10, 16, 22, 30, 34 miniatures for £84, and the train as well. So I guess if you are happy to spend that £84, you get a decent amount of stuff. 34 miniatures is definitely not bad. If you compare that to some of the recent like 40k box sets, seems like a decent amount of stuff for £84. And it is a whole game system with 14 quests that you can play. I think this used to be 1 to 4 players, but actually it's 2 to 5 because one player plays as the DM. Okay, but if you went for the Mythic tier like I did, there was no option, like I said, in the UK. You had to go all in or nothing for the Kickstarter. You got 2 expansions, and you got this Mythic box. So let's check out this Mythic box. So I imagine the expansions will probably be sold separately at some point, because there is more expansions than this. When I was a kid, I had the Ogre expansion. I believe I had Keller's Keep, and I believe I had the Ogre expansion. I can't remember what the Ogre expansion was called now. I'm drawing a blank. Someone tell me in the comments. So you get more tiles in the Mythic thing to, I guess, add some new mechanics to the main board, because I have never seen this before. This is almost like a tavern tile that you could sit. Oh, and also like some sort of undead area as well, I guess. So you also get the Spirit Queen's Torment quest book. It seems like a lot of quests. Just the same, 14 odd quests. Yeah, 14 quests in the Spirit Queen's Torment. The Crypt of Perpetual Darkness, and maybe that was what the tiles we were just looking at. The Crypt of Perpetual Darkness is 10 quests. And the Prophecy of Telor, who looks like a nasty elven mage or sorts. It is
13 quests. And in here, we've got more cards. We actually have more playable heroes. I assume that these are playable heroes. We have some more enemies, some of which are the same. Like these are the same Chaos Marauders that we saw earlier. Maybe slightly different because the ones
Earlier had mauls, and these ones now have swords. So,
something slightly different there. And I mean, we've got skeletons now with shields. We've got more combat dice. I don't know why you would need more combat dice because typically 6 dice is more than you would ever roll in a game. We have more ogres. These guys look like they got thunder hammers. Let me see if I can get one out. These plastic things are good for holding them as they're shipped, but I imagine that if you tried to put them back in here once they're painted, you'd end up damaging the models because some of those are pretty tight squeeze.
here's an orc with a thunder hammer.
But pretty cool nonetheless. It's about 20 more miniatures, and then in here we have 5 more miniatures and 4 more character cards. So I think this is... I really wish they hadn't sealed all these boxes. I mean, it was a Kickstarter, it didn't need to be so sealed. We have 5 more character classes in here. We got the female barbarian, a female dwarf. It looks like a male wizard, a male elf, a female wizard, and then there must be one more that I don't know. There's this old guy with a torch.
Who is the old guy with the torch?
Maybe he's like the caretaker of the dungeon or something. Yeah, so bonus, 4 more playable characters, and that gives you the option to play with both sexes. So if you have female players, you don't have to have them always either be a male character, or there was only one female character in the original, I think, and it was the elf. And these cards here, I'm trying to get them out, I can't. Okay, so you get a bard, you get a warlock, you get a druid, and you get a wizard. So 4 new playable characters, it looks like. I could be wrong, they might not be. And this looks like some new spells. Warlock spells. Okay, bard spells. And druid spells. Okay, so I think these are actually genuinely 4 more playable characters. So by getting the Mythic tier, you maybe go from like the 4 stereotypical characters up to about 10. And obviously you get a bunch more quest books. So you would be able, with these extra models, and this is one that we haven't seen before. He looks like, I think he's probably the warlock. Let me see if I get him out. Some sort of undead warlock, yeah. I think, like I said, I like these things, but I think I don't have any nails as well. I'm really bad for filing my nails all the time. I think you would damage some of these guys trying to get them in and out of here. So you may end up wanting to buy yourself some sort of foam or something. Let me see. I cannot get this guy out. Oh, there we go. Okay.
And I think he is the undead warlock.
So you could... I like the fact that they are colour-coded, and that was one of the great things about HeroQuest, because when I was a kid, I did not paint my stuff. It was only much later that I got into the painting and actually got any good at it. So, if you just want to play straight away, at least all the characters are colour-coded with the colour plastic, and you could get into it. So that is what you get in the Mythic box. Alright, and then let's have a look at these 2 expansions. Return of the Witch Lord. The cruel Witch Lord survived the great battle and sought refuge in his subterranean fortress. Soon he will recover enough strength to lead his mutant army in vengeance against the realm. You must journey across the barren lands and confront the Witch Lord. Beware, his fortress is filled with legions of vile monsters and deadly traps. So it sounds like we're going to get some more terrain pieces, possibly more enemies, obviously another quest book, and again, all the quest books seem to have around 10 quests on this one, so like I said, more tile pieces. I kind of like this reminds me of Imperial Assault, where there's more tile pieces that like change up the map a little bit, and I like that. I think that's nice to have. We get some more cards, and these must be just cards for these enemies because I do not see any player cards here. Oh, so it's new equipment and new artifacts. So I guess new loot within Keller's Keep here. and obviously a bunch of undead skeletons, mummies.
Just like tons of skeletons and mummies.
But yeah, a very good amount of miniatures. These little expansions, I think back in the day, cost maybe like £20, and I think they had about, the ogre expansion only had about 6 models in it. So this seems like a good number of models to get in an expansion. And then Keller's Keep. The king is trapped in the fortress recess of Keller's Keep, a subterranean vault deep within an ancient fortress. But the key to this secret location is to be found in the fragments of a map hidden far underground. The heroes must make their way through the eerie passage to reach the king in Keller's Keep before Zargon and his evil forces do. So, expand your game system with another quest book. I'm just going to tell you, it's about 10 quests. Expand the map with new locations and some sort of summoning portal, I guess. Again, it's probably going to be more equipment and loot that you can gain in Keller's Keep. And both these expansions don't really have any main... doesn't look like either of them have a main villain character within the expansions. Yeah, it's more equipment, more artifacts. So it's just more mobs. So I guess probably that means just more trash to fight your way through. Trash in this game never really bogged you down, though. It's kind of a really fast-paced game, Hero Quest, because it was made way back in the 90s, and it was made as one of the first dungeon crawler games like this. It was certainly the first one I ever saw where it had a board and you worked through levels together. So that is Hero Quest's Mythic tier.
Like I said, if you're interested in just getting the regular one, this is what you would be getting.
Right now, and I think this was £84 in the UK, so I imagine probably like 100 USD. And then this is what you've got if you Kickstarter it, and I really think this was kind of a popular Kickstarter. I think if the box sells well, we may see some more expansions. I think we will have a game on this with some beers on a stream some Friday or Saturday night. But that's about all I'm going to say. And I may actually do some painting of this at some point as well, because it's a fun game to get. If people have never played any sort of miniatures game, then this is a great miniatures game to get them interested in it. It's very simple, it's very fast, and like I said, we will play it at some time. I hope, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching a non-Blood Angels video on the channel. I just really wanted to share this because it was the start of my whole journey, and I've been excited to get it, and I am excited to play it, and I think I will paint it. I have a backlog of things to paint as always, but it's something that I'm going to look at in the future.
Leave me a comment if you got any questions. I'll certainly answer them. And
until next time, brothers, by the blood are we made strong.
Peace. How do you do a peace symbol upside down? Like this, I guess? Peace. Peace. Peace.